Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka The Terrible Australian at Supermarsy.com, and welcome to my video review of the comedy Dirty Grandpa. So let's get right into it. Now, whenever you hear a movie, like especially one that has a really bad reputation, like some of them calling one of the worst films of the year, or it's absolutely terrible, and nobody should see it, and what so on and so forth. Usually a lot of people just like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to see that, turn away. If anything, when I hear a film get that much of a reputation, it actually makes me more curious to see it. But, I mean, granted, I am the terrible Australian and I pretty much watch all the movies that nobody else wants to do, so in that way it's kind of in my ballpark anyway. But in that way, when I hear a film get kind of the reputation like that, especially this early in the year, like, we're only in March, and so far this film, Dirty Grandpa, which I'm reviewing for you right now, has kind of already got that reputation. And when I sort of heard about it, I'm thinking, okay, is it as bad as everyone else? I mean, as everyone has made it out to be? Like, or is this kind of another sort of situation where it's like, and as I like to call it, overhated? Like, kind of similar to being overrated, but where it's gets so much hate, but it's not that bad. Not to say it's good, but just not that bad. So in that way, I was curious to see what Dirty Grandpa was like. And sort of like, and then now having seen this movie, I can definitely understand why nobody likes this movie at all. It is very crude, it's very rude, it is very un-PC. It definitely lives up to its title as Dirty Grandpa. I mean, seriously, this film is just so wrong on so many levels. But I would be lying if I didn't admit that it did make me giggle a couple of times. Not say every joke landed or anything like that. Not every joke was a hit. Like, a lot of them did fall flat. And the movie itself is average, but I will admit I did get a couple of giggles. And I think it was mainly because of just how wrong this film was. I'm like sitting there watching it and I'm thinking, oh geez, I can't believe what I'm seeing in this film. And there are some aspects that I think, yep, never thought I'd see that in a movie, especially involving Robert De Niro. But, so in that regard, I do feel like kind of ashamed that I kind of had somewhat enjoyment from it. But that's not to say I didn't like the film. Like I said, I think it's a more of an average film than an alright bad film. But then again, that's just me personally. Like, I know a lot of people flat out hated it. So, like, I have to sort of, one of the things I got to give it credit, especially like for a movie that is so wrong on so many levels, so dirty, un-PC and whatnot. I got to give it at least credit, at least kind of admire it in a way that it kind of just went full bore the way it did and made no apologies whatsoever. Like, this is a film that clearly just didn't really care if you liked the film or not. Like, it's just going to be like, I guess, un-PC. I mean, this film is very wrong on so many levels, and I think it's definitely a film not for the easily offended. And in a way, I kind of admired it for that, especially in this time, in this day and age we're living now, where everything is just, like, not to say that's a bad thing, like PC in a lot of regards. And it's kind of, in a way, kind of refreshing that seeing something just so un-PC. At least until recently with another film I saw recently, which kind of did that even more so, but I'm saving that for a future review, a written one actually, so keep a lookout for that. But with Dirty Grandpa, in that way I sort of admired it, but at the same time I didn't think like all the jokes landed. Like, there are some where I just kind of groaned or rolled my eyes, and as a film itself, it's just pretty average, and you can definitely tell that they were sort of tried to make it as offensive as possible. And some of the time it did work, but not in a good way, and other times it did, but not as well as it could have been. But I think it's sort of like, I can see what the film's going for, but it didn't and it could have easily have worked, but it didn't, unfortunately, it didn't quite get there. And I think director Dan Mazar, who's actually worked in this type of field a lot, because he used to work on the Ali G show, and as well as work with Sacha Baron Cohen on the films Borat, Bruno, and he also directed this film called I give it a year, which actually made my top 10 worst films of 2013 list. So this one, in a way, is actually kind of a bit of a step up from that, because I actually hated I Give It a Year. So this one I didn't hate at all. I mean, I didn't hate it. I just, like I said, it's not a good film, but it's not an all the way bad film. It's just sort of a mediocre kind of film. But it does have its moments, and I do have to, like I said, give it credit in some way, particularly with the cast. Like, I know some people would say Robert De Niro and Zac Efron deserve better. They shouldn't be degrading themselves in quote-unquote trash like this. But I gotta give them also credit for being committed to these roles and going as far as they did with what their characters go through in the film, and sort of the sick and twisted stuff that happens. And yeah, I mean, in that regard, they kind of get a bit of credit from me. And some people will say, yeah, it just, to me, I kind of give it credit for that, because, like I said, they put the commitment in it. So, and you can tell that they wanted to go all out as well. So, like I said, Dirty Grandpa, it's a watchable, if rather average film. Like I said, it's not going to change your life, and it's definitely a film that it would be more or less kind of watch on a night with a group of friends or something while you're getting drunk. So I can definitely see why a lot of people would hate it, and trust me, I wouldn't blame anyone for not hating this. I mean, I wouldn't blame anyone for hating this film. But in a way, I didn't think it was as bad as everyone made it out to be, and I will admit I did get some laughs out of it, which I totally ashamed of. Like, and of course it's got Jason Mantzoukas, who's always hilarious, and he's definitely one of the high points of the film. And also Aubrey Plaza for going all out with her performance as well, so I got to give them credit. So yeah, it has its good qualities, but overall it's a kind of an average comedy. So if I had to give Dirty Grandpa a rating, I'd give it 2.5 stars. So yep, that's the end of my video review of Dirty Grandpa. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you everyone. Bye.